Planning Commission, Mike.
Very briefly, I think the news for Planning Commission is something already mentioned during public comment by John Guy, who expressed concerns about Stocking Works 2 project. And indeed, as many people know, at the last Planning Commission meeting, Alan Smith and his group came back with a current version of what we call a sketch plan with some additional renderings of what the project would actually look like from an architectural standpoint. So this project now enters a new phase, which is going to be something that everyone with an interest, and hopefully there will be many, will be attending meetings and seeing it as it goes forward. As has already been said, and I think been well published in the papers as well, there is a change with the elimination of office space and an increase in residential uses for the project. So that's a fairly significant change in the prior proposals. I will say, however, that the representation is that there is an overall 25% drop in traffic according to what the developer presented at the last Planning Commission meeting. So mindful of this change in use, we want to certainly keep an eye on that going forward. But this will be coming back to Planning Commission with refinements in the next couple of months. And I think we had maybe one other council member there. Were you there? Bob was there. And so long as there aren't four of us, then we can always have a good complement of members, even at Planning Commission, to get a kind of an advancement on the learning curve before it comes to us. And that's it.
Any questions for Mike?
No, the only thing, I did not attend the meeting, but I did read the article in the Courier. And I guess some of the concern is seeing the change going from a vision of office, retail, residential to residential, retail, and zero office. The article made it sound like it was due to a tax reason and an IRS issue rather than hopefully what is in the best interest of the borough. If you look at the size of this development, if they're going to go with 300, up to 300 condominiums on what was the square, 9 square acres or 9 acres, I think they really, it's going to be very tight, and I think I echo the concerns of John Guy that I don't know how the reduction of traffic would be based on the switch, but have we done, or are they going to do a new traffic study based on the fact that, you know, we're changing this from, I guess, maybe when they originally did the assessment and they did the traffic study, is there a new traffic study in place, or where did they get that 25% reduction from?
Well, I don't know that I can answer all those questions, but that's certainly going to be something that the Planning Commission looks at carefully going forward. The 25% reduction, which was stated at the Planning Commission meeting, is certainly something that's going to have to be justified. So whether it's some sort of addition to the traffic proposal or an explanation which has clarity and which makes sense, either way, that's going to have to be done as a feature of the change. So that's going to be, I think, a function of these meetings going forward, each of which is going to be important to raise those type questions. So again, I say to my fellow council members here, we can have 3 of us there. I'm usually there, but 2 others certainly can maybe rotate through these, and we can have this kind of experience personally and even ask questions as you can at the next meeting when this comes up, and get answers earlier than later.
Mike, can you give us a sense of sort of the time frame of what we can expect over time? Because I read it in the paper as well, and I was a bit surprised that the office piece had dropped out. So is there a logical sequence of events that over the next couple of months that we're going to see? Or?
Well, I think it's pretty much all dictated by the TND ordinance, which we passed recently. Plan phase right now, and the TND ordinance lays out those things which have to now be complied with in order to move it forward. The next really large step being the preliminary plan. So that's going to be when full engineering begins to take shape. But the questions being raised about the mixture of uses, the dropping of office, and what I'll call the larger pieces of the development puzzle are ones that are going to be dealt with now. So the developer also, I think, was asked a specific question about what is the time frame within which you would expect or hope approvals would would be done, and I think he talked about a year because of the size and complexity of the project. But again, I think we're talking about the things at this point being ones that are of a use nature, and while we're beyond mere concept now, they're important questions. So this is the time to raise them. This is the time to have them answered. And whether it's a change in use or a significant change in the configuration of the buildings on the site, it's good to be involved earlier than later.
I think, you know, echoing all the other comments, I think we've said it in the past, maybe Julia, you coined this, that traffic and parking is the storm water of this development. I mean, it's going to be the issue that we need to really understand, and a significant change like this, we really need to monitor very carefully.
And this project does come before council fairly soon. It does not wait until it's been through more stages. It will come before council, not the least of which being for a conditional use hearing. So it isn't entirely happening at the Planning Commission level.
In light of Gerard's comments, I know we're working on the parking garage ordinance, or about to work on it. And I think I'd like to see the long-term parking committee be intimately involved with that, especially when it comes time to designate the space considerations, parking space considerations. I know there was a great deal of work that was done years ago when we were putting Newtown Station in, and I believe some standards were set back then. I'm not familiar with what they are, but I think they should reflect our minimums. One of the concerns that I share with you, Gerard, is the fact that there could be 300 residents there and God knows how many cars, and we're going to be giving up about 75 to 100 parking spaces in the municipal lot to get this project done. I'd like to know how that's being accommodated, and then how they're mapping over to accommodate the parking for the 60,000 square feet of retail space, and how many cars are accounting for when it comes to residential space. I was quite surprised at the significant change. I was quite taken back, and I would only offer a word of caution to the Planning Commission, recognizing the TND ordinance does drive a schedule, but let's make sure we dot I's, cross T's more than once, because this is a big project for the borough, an important project for the borough. We're looking at this from an enhancement standpoint, a revenue standpoint also, in terms of helping out the borough with its expenses. But the other thing I think we've got to look at is, what will our expenses be? Will this have an impact on our police department? Will we have to put on more officers to accommodate that increased in density going forward? Do we have to have 2 full-time officers on each shift? What will the overall impact be on the borough in terms of accepting the project and then sustaining it once the developer is out? And I think we should also give some consideration to evaluating impact fees. The township, I know, has impact fees, and there may be something to be derived from this project that would be beneficial to the residents of the borough.
Anything else, Mike?
I think it's enough.
Yeah, I think